Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, good morning. Welcome to another market open stream. And there is the market bell. And today, let's talk about what's going on with the markets, including Bitcoin and Gary Gensler. Gary Gensler just did an interview where he basically proclaimed that he's the savior. He's going to save the industry. So let's talk about that. Let's take a listen. Is he right? And is a Bitcoin ETF around the corner? We want answers, right? So let's take a look. Good morning, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we're starting out, NASDAQ down a little bit, Dow up, kind of a flat day. Yesterday, U.S. markets didn't do well. Bitcoin market didn't do well. Crypto market didn't do well, right? And that is why our fear level, at least for crypto fear level, is not fear, but we went from greed to neutral. So that's more adequate. Okay, so we didn't fall back to fear. If this showed that we fall back to fear, well, then we have real problems. No, just slightly down, right? Because we had of course, we had big news. Not good news, but we had big news that Kraken settled with the SEC and is ending a staking service, okay? And, you know, Brian Armstrong kind of spread this rumor a day before. So obviously him and Jesse were talking already, and Brian knew what was going to happen. But this scared some people yesterday because now it seems like the SEC wants to shut down staking altogether. Because if it's Kraken first, is it Coinbase next? Is it Binance next? Is it DeFi next? Is it everything next? We don't know, right? So this is what kind of spooked the market yesterday. And unfortunately, you had a lot of long liquidations because too many people are still too greedy, playing too much leverage. In fact, we had like 250 million, according to this article, 250 million in longs liquidated yesterday. That's what brought us down to where we are, 21.8. But overall, we're down, but not out, but I did see something very interesting this morning, okay? Squawk Box, Andrew interviewed Gary Gensler, okay? And kind of asked him about it, point blank, like, you know, there's this feeling that you don't like crypto, or there's an agenda that you have to kind of get it away from financial markets, right? And then he asked him about Bitcoin ETF. It's a long interview. But what I got from this was that Gary, in his mind, is trying to act as crypto savior. That without him, the industry has no chance of surviving. That's what I got out of this. Here, let's take a listen, and you guys tell me what you get out of this. Let me get this set up here.
Well, let me ask you, talking about clarity, and this is maybe a philosophical, sort of broader policy perspective. I think that there is a common view that your office is using all available means effectively to keep crypto out of the mainstream financial system through enforcement, accounting rules, inspections. Clearly, there's not real guidance yet on custody. And this may very well be a reasonable policy choice, if that's the choice. The question is, if that's the choice, why not just say it publicly?
We're using all available tools. We're talking directly to market participants. We take the meetings. We say, this is how you comply. There's a handful of tokens that have actually registered. The intermediaries, the storefronts, if you wish, the casinos that people are investing in and investing at need to properly comply and disentangle these bundled products. The business model that they've set up is rife with conflicts. And so we've been very candid with them. I've done it in multiple speeches since I came to the agency. We'll continue to engage. We're technology neutral. But if this field has any chance of survival and success, it's time-tested rules and laws to protect the investing public, disclosure, full, fair, and truthful disclosure, address conflicts and disaggregate these bundled businesses, and don't have your hand in the customer's pocket using their funds or your own
Sure,
platforms.
But in terms,
well, that last part is right. Don't use customers' funds. But he basically said, you know, without me, this is not going to happen. If there's any chance, right, these guys have to follow our rules and regulations and blah, blah, blah. Basically, I'm here to save crypto. You better listen to me. I'm the savior. But here's the second part about Bitcoin ETF.
in terms of the larger industry and whether I mean, you even seem to suggest the larger industry may or may not survive. You know, one of the pieces of that survival to some degree, I think, has been this idea that one day there may be something like a Bitcoin ETF or something else. Grayscale, as you know, appealing the SEC's Bitcoin ETF decision, which is effectively to say it can't happen. Is there any path at which you think either that specific ETF or something like it could?
The paths, I'm not going to speak about one, but let me generally say, Andrew, the path forward is well trodden. Whether it's large companies that you follow every day, the Apples and other tech companies, or the automobile companies, manufacturing companies know how to register their offerings. The exchanges like the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ and so forth know how to be compliant and come into registration. The big broker dealers and the small, thousands of broker dealers, the mutual funds.
Right.
I dare go on. We have tens of thousands of registrants that properly, in good faith, comply. They register, they make the proper disclosures. It's time for this group to do so. The runway is getting awfully short, and we're here to try to protect the investing public.
Well, let me
Okay, so he completely dodged the Bitcoin ETF question. So basically he was saying these guys don't know how to register properly. He was saying New York Stock Exchange and all these guys know how to register. Hey, you don't think like someone like Fidelity knows how to register? Fidelity was one of the largest giants out there trying to get their ETF approved. You don't think they know how to register? You don't think they have like hundreds of lawyers that try to get their Bitcoin ETF registered? You don't think all these Van Eyck, they're known for their ETFs. You don't think Van Eyck knows how to register? You don't think even Grayscale knows how to register? I mean, that's a completely BS answer. Okay, it's not a matter of they know how to register. They have been for years. It's just that you, Gary, does not want a Bitcoin ETF to exist in the market. That's what it comes down to, right? Some of the biggest players, institutions that know how to register because they already have like dozens of ETFs, they have been shut down, right? So there's definitely an agenda there not to allow Bitcoin to grow bigger, right? To try to prevent the ETF from coming out and getting to the masses, basically, right? So that's Bitcoin ETF. Basically what he's saying, he's not saying a whole lot. So will we ever see a Bitcoin ETF in the United States? Possibly after he resigns or get kicked out. Okay, I don't know within his term whether or not we're going to see that. And then the first part about crypto, right, overall, I don't know. Like, now that he's going after staking, right, he talks about separation, like, I don't know what that means. Like, why does he feel like staking is such a threat, right? Why is staking such a threat? He doesn't really explain. He just explains about commingling and stuff like that. I get that, obviously, after FTX, but why didn't he do anything about FTX? You know, why did he wait until the whole thing collapsed, right? So I don't know. Gary's Gary, okay? He's no friend to crypto, that's for sure. He has not done one thing in office that has helped the industry at all. I don't know what he has done so far other than to attack. We need someone to push back. Someone like Ripple that actually has the means and resources to do so. We need someone to push back and actually win, because all he's doing is chipping away and taking everything away. And in the U.S., pretty soon, we will have no crypto. We will have no services, no platforms, maybe not even exchanges, because he's taking everything away and no one is doing anything about it. That's the bottom line. And pretty soon, if the U.S. gets phased out, well, then that means all future innovations will be happening in other countries, just not in the U.S. It's not like this is going to shut down crypto or Bitcoin overall, but it's going to shut down all the future innovations that could be coming. And companies are just going to be leaving to other countries. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But, you know, Brian Armstrong says, we will continue to fight for economic freedom. Our mission at Coinbase. Some days being the most trusted brand in crypto means protecting our customers from government overreach. I like to see that. I like to see Brian Armstrong actually fight the SEC over this. It comes at a bad time because Coinbase stock is down, but and the revenue is down, and they just had to lay off a whole bunch of people. But I would love to see the SEC send a letter to Coinbase asking them to shut down their staking services, and then they say no. No, it's unlawful. You don't have any jurisdiction in asking us to do that, and we will fight you in court. I love to see that, but I don't know if they have, you know, the money and resources to do so right now, right? Maybe, maybe not. I heard Brian Armstrong wanted to help testify in Ripple's case. I do believe that's the case. So that, you know, basically the industry leaders need to come in, pool their money and resources to fight the SEC, because without some wins, you know, Gary's just go step on everyone. That's honestly the truth. Maybe Binance.us can, right? SEC didn't like that Binance.us buying Voyager. Basically, they wanted to see Voyager just shut down to nothing, right? They did not want anyone to buy them, and then fortunately the judges overruled it and said, hey, Binance could still move forward with the acquisition of Voyager and then give people their crypto back, right? But SEC also tried to throw a wrench in that. So maybe Binance, it's going to come down to Binance and their resources to fight the SEC. I don't know. Someone needs to fight them, that's for sure. But, you know, overall, you know, if you're worried about what's going on with staking, right? This is just a big endorsement to self-custody your own crypto. That's what it comes down to, right? You can still stake. You can still help power the networks that you believe in, power the chains, right, and collect staking rewards. But you just have to do so within your own wallet. You could download Trust Wallet, Ledger Wallet, Exodus Wallet. I mean, there's a ton of wallets. Even Coinbase Wallet, they all offer basically staking within. I don't know about Coinbase Wallet, but I have to double check on that. But most of these, or just native wallets from these chains, there's a lot of lightweight wallets you can download. There's some that's desktop wallets, right? And you can just stake yourself on your own computer, on your own phone, right? On your own wallet. You don't have to stake through exchange. It's just, it's convenient to, but you could definitely stake yourself. Is another reason why everyone should get involved and learn about self-custody wallets, how to operate one, and how to stake in one too. So there you go. There you go. I also saw this. PayPal also disclosed that they hold on about 600 million of customers' crypto, right? PayPal is one of those large fintech giants, and I'm not a fan of PayPal at all. They still have, as far as I know, they changed their term last time, so for disinformation, they can still charge you $2,500. And I don't know how that's not illegal. I don't know why Gary doesn't have a problem with that. That PayPal financial firm could just declare that they can charge customers $2,500 based on disinformation. Okay, somehow that is overlooked. But anyways, PayPal also offers crypto, right? And a lot of other these fintech companies offer crypto, and unfortunately, they don't allow people to withdraw. They just basically hold it for you, right? And PayPal's known to shut people out. They're known for locking someone out of their account and you can't withdraw. I've been through that, okay? This is why I'm not a fan of PayPal and try to stay away as much as I can. First of all, you don't want to be fined $2,500. Second of all, right, these kind of apps just, they lock you in. They don't allow you to withdraw, and that's not good. That's not good. So be careful, right? Utilize, if you are in crypto, utilize exchanges that actually offer you to self-custody, because that is the safest thing to do. But of course, there's caveats to that. When I say the safest thing to do, you still have to protect yourself with your self-custody wallet and make sure you don't lose the seed phrase, the recovery phrase, right? You don't get hacked, stuff like that. You still have to prepare. So there's still a little nuance to it. But overall, that's still better learning rather than having like PayPal hold your funds and then saying, okay, we're going to lock you out, and then now you don't have access to it, right? That's even worse. That's even worse. All right. Now, moving on, what else is there? Well, as for Bitcoin, you guys know Bitcoin goes through cycles. Here's an interesting one. The 11-year trend. And you could see during some times Bitcoin is below that trend. Sometimes Bitcoin is above that trend, right? And you could see the downtrends, the percentage of downs, and the multipliers for ups, right? But one thing is interesting is we are way, way, way below that trend right now. Way below, right? We did fall down 77% from top, but the reason being is because our last top was premature. Had the Fed not announced that they were going to be very aggressive a rate hike due to inflation, you know, our multiplier would have been higher and our dip would have just brought us below the 11 trend a little bit, but not nearly as much it is now, right? But why this is a good thing is because Bitcoin has been doing its thing, right? Has been affected by macro a little bit, but overall, Bitcoin just continues forward and never looks back and does not pay attention to what's going on. Okay, Bitcoin is Bitcoin. So we will definitely recover. And since we are so below the trend line, who knows? Our next recovery could be way bigger than anyone expects. Could happen. Could definitely happen. This guy right here, I'm not too familiar with Greg Foss, but Greg Foss basically seems like he's an industry veteran for over 30 years. He has his own firm, but basically he manages risk. And it's interesting that he made this in this interview. He's like, Bitcoin is the greatest asymmetrical investment opportunity I've ever seen, managing risk for over 30 years. And he believes Bitcoin is going to go to 2 million, right? Kind of like what a lot of other industry guys have said. Once they understand, the people that truly understand about money, the way the government is endlessly printing and basically how it's not going to stop and the money printer just keep going because of irresponsible spending, and it leads to irresponsible spending, right? If you understand that and you take that into account, then Bitcoin's future projected price is going to be in the millions because inflation is going to be sky high and it's never going to stop, right? Just think about that. Think about that. And of course, short term, Bitcoin is moving according to 2019, basically, still almost to the T, in a bullish divergence. So waiting for the next leg up, right? But of course, the SEC has to throw a wrench in things, trying to scare the market. But you know what? Like all previous scares, Bitcoin does not care, and it will get past it and move forward. That's quite simply it. U.S. market is a little bit red. I did also see this. Microsoft is shutting down their metaverse team. You know, Facebook lost about $12 billion in 2022 trying to grow their metaverse. And basically, I think they gave up. I'm not sure if they did because they've been losing tens of billions every single year. Now, Microsoft just got in 2022. Now they're shutting down. They were working on metaverse for like industrial purposes, like in a warehouse or something. So they didn't put nearly as much money. Right now, Microsoft's concentration is ChatGPT. That's what everyone is concentrating on, right? So that's their next big thing with AI. Not so much with metaverses, but just thought I'd bring that up. All right, that's pretty much it. Let's do some Q&A. All right. Let's see here. What is an ETF? Legos? That's what Google is for. Exchange traded fund. It's just a fund, basically. Who's in charge of the SEC? I'd like to know that. Like, if the SEC overreaches, if Gary overreaches, is there anyone to tell him you have overreached, right? I think it's kind of unfair. Like, who polices the police in this case? You know, Gary just makes all these rulings, does whatever he wants, and basically we're getting to the point where, yeah, I mean, companies have to fight for themselves, and if they don't have the resource, they will cave. And even exchanges like Kraken have caved because they just don't have enough manpower to fight the SEC, right? So who actually monitors and polices the SEC? Seems like there's no one. They just do whatever Gary just does whatever he wants. You think Gemini is going to be next after Kraken? I do think so. Gemini is big in the U.S., but they're nowhere the size of Binance and Coinbase. I'm pretty sure. And plus, Gemini is already in some trouble because of their ties with Genesis. So I think Gemini is probably going to be next. They do offer staking, but mostly through Gemini Earn, which is a different program, right? But I don't know if Gemini actually offers like native staking. Maybe they do, but I think Gemini is going to have to settle with SEC in some capacity. They recently said that they were going to give $100 million to try to resolve this Gemini Earn thing, but $100 million is a lot, but it's nothing compared to what the 3 or 4 billion hole that Genesis has. Braxton, appreciate it. Congress is supposed to, or the president? I don't know. I mean, Congress takes forever to get consensus in Congress, so I don't know if they're going to do anything to Gary. It has to come down to the president, I guess, and President Biden has no clue about Bitcoin and crypto. So, how is this all talk on AI not a scam? Just software coding? Don't we need a breakthrough in quantum computing to still have real AI? At MCT, respectfully, I don't think you know what you're talking about. Okay, you don't need quantum computing for real AI, and ChatGPT is amazing if you use it. But yes, it's not a sentient being. Okay, we're not talking about a sentient being that can think for themselves. Because if we have that, then we have Skynet, and then we'll have Terminators, and then that'll be the end of humans. All right. So no, it's not to that point, but. But we have some awesome software that could do a whole lot of stuff for us that couldn't be done before, and it's really good. So no, it's not a scam, and no, we don't need a breakthrough in quantum computing for that to happen. What brand of coffee are you sipping on? Costco. Costco breakfast blend, in case you wanted to know. Which it sounds like you do. Gary acts the way he looks, malicious and golem-like. It's just, it's just so funny that Gary, everyone's cheering when Gary got the role or got the job, and everyone's like, oh yeah, we finally got someone that really gets it. You know, someone that truly gets crypto, he must, right? He was teaching classes at MIT. He's turning out to be the worst SEC chair ever. Some of the biggest scams have gone through, and he is trying to shut down so many things. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. Please get Gensler on the show. I would love to have Gary on the show. That'll be an interesting conversation. I like to pick his brain on a few things. I love to get Fed Powell on the show. Neither one will ever come to this show, but still, I love to go to that press conference, the next FOMC press conference, right? Because at the very end, there was like some reporters from some weird unknown media outlet actually got a chance to ask Chair Powell something, right? I love to just like sneak in there and then ask him about, yeah. I don't know about what, but it'll be about something good. Something that no one else will ask him. I work right next to the NY Fed Reserve Building. Go in, storm in there and ask him. Ask him about why the Fed prints so much money. And when are they going to stop? When are we going to be fiscally responsible with money and not irresponsible with money? Why do we spend more than we earn, right? And why does that disparity keep rising? It just seems like we have come to terms as a government, okay? When I say we as a government, we have come to terms that we can print as much money as needed, and it's okay. That I truly believe, I truly believe our government in the U.S. has come to that conclusion, because now you just see like, you know, you just see like whenever there's any kind of trouble, the answer is to print more money. That's really it. The answer is print more money, because no one wants to resolve anything. No one wants to be the guy that says we can't print any more money. Like, literally, really, who out there says we need to stop printing money? I don't hear anyone. I mean, this whole talk about a debt ceiling right now, right? The U.S., we just raised a debt ceiling by like $2 trillion in December 2021. Now in 2023, basically just a year and a half later, we need to raise it again, right? This debt ceiling is now being pushed. I think it's at 31 trillion already. That's how much we spend, basically, and overspend, I should say. That's how much we overspend, and it's not enough. Like every single year, it's not enough. We have to raise how much we can spend, how much we could go into debt, and it's not like we're stopping that. Like, we're not saying, hey, maybe we should stop spending so much, right? It's just an endless cycle. And then in 2 years, well, of course they're going to raise the debt ceiling. There's no way they're not, because it'd be disastrous if they don't. And then in 2 years, they're going to raise it again. In 2 years, they're going to raise it again. It's just like there's no consequences, right? Anyways, I rambled on a little too much. But, you know, this is why we need Bitcoin. This is why it exists. I don't think Satoshi himself or the group knew what was going to happen like 12 years later, right? Bitcoin was created after the last recession in 2008. Then it came out in 2009, right? And it was bad already because at the time, banks were getting bailed after everyone was about to go under, right? And the Fed had to save them. And it was bad then. But back then we didn't print trillions like we do now. The bailout back then was 789 billion. I remember that. And it was like, oh my God, close to $1 trillion bailout. That's crazy. We've never, ever, ever, ever seen so much printing in our lifetime. And then you fast forward to 2020, 2021, 2022. Now we're printing trillions like it's pocket change. Yeah, let's just print 4 trillion this year. Let's print another 2 trillion the next year. Let's print another 2 trillion the next year, right? Let's go up another trillion the year after that. I mean, it's like trillions like it's nothing now. And Gary refuses to give us a Bitcoin ETF. He does not state why. He stated in this interview that, yeah, people don't know how to register properly. That's the reason why we don't have a Bitcoin ETF. That's complete nonsense. 100% nonsense. These giant financial companies or fund managers, they have been applying for ETFs for decades, and they have a ton of ETFs. And you're telling me they don't know how to properly register a Bitcoin ETF? That's complete nonsense. Gary does not want Bitcoin ETFs to exist. Koala Man, you're exactly right. Government has no longer any choice to stop printing. The only other choice is default and giving financial reins to other countries. You're exactly right. We're in this death spiral where they don't know how to stop it because it's gotten so bad and you can't stop it. Because if you stop it, it's basically you're bankrupting yourself, right? If we don't raise the debt ceiling, what's going to happen? We can't repay the bonds and we can't pay the interest on the bonds, which means the U.S. credit rating drops from AAA down to maybe F. Okay, it's probably never go to F, but it'll start dropping, and that means other countries stop buying our bonds because they don't trust that the U.S. will pay the interest or pay out the bonds, right? And then that's a death spiral because that's how we survive. We sell bonds basically to borrow money, and if we can't borrow money, then guess what? We need to spit up the money printer even more to try to compensate for that. And then that leads to higher inflation, and then, you know, it's an endless cycle. I'm not sure what to buy today. Theta, Harmony, and Phantom. Out of the three, I like Phantom the most. So that's just me. How much money do we owe China? A ton. I think Japan actually overtook China in terms of the biggest U.S. bond holder. But we're talking about like probably trillions upon trillions. Can I do Gary Gensler's voice in the next SBF Adventures? Maybe. Whole coin nerd. Gary's confusing lending with staking. Yes. I think you're right. I think a lot of people are confused. Because obviously we had this big scare with Celsius, with Voyager, with BlockFi, with Genesis, right? Their kind of rewards was different than staking now, right? What they did was take people's crypto and then lent it out, made interest, right? And then passed on some of those interests to customers. That's how they did it. But they were stupid. They got greedy. They lent it out to companies like ITrustCapital, and they didn't ask them to put down any collateral. That's on them. They screwed that model up, okay? Had they asked for enough collateral, we would not be in this position. But no, They were all greedy. They thought Three Oaks Capital couldn't possibly go under, so they lent them billions upon billions of dollars. And Three Oaks Capital, of course, lost most of that with Luna. So they all had a hand in it, and FTX also did too, right? But staking, native staking, is part of these chains. That's how you secure the network, how you process transactions, how governance works, right? That's different. These stakes are built with inflation so that, they reward people that's helping secure the chain, right? That's different than the lending companies, what they did. Right now, the staking that operates on Kraken and Gemini and Binance and Coinbase is essentially just passing on the chain rewards to the people. They're doing it as a service, and maybe they're taking a small cut of that, but they're not taking the crypto to lend it out anymore, right? But Gary maybe he's confused or he doesn't care. He just wants to shut everything down, everything that he doesn't like, which is everything. I don't know what he likes. Like some Bitcoin maxis will say, oh, Gary loves Bitcoin, right? He only believes in Bitcoin is not security. Well, if he loves Bitcoin, why do we not have a Bitcoin ETF? Right? The industry is mature enough. Bitcoin's industry is mature enough, definitely, to warrant a Bitcoin ETF. Why do we not have a Bitcoin ETF yet? Right? So he's not a fan of anything. He's not a fan of any crypto. We owe more debt from China than they own of ours. We pay interest, but they refuse to pay any interest. Why don't people talk about that more? Because I'm not quite sure that's accurate at MCT. I'm 100% certain that China holds more of our bonds than we hold of theirs. And I kind of refuse to believe that they don't pay their interest because they're probably wealthier as a country than we are. And if they don't pay, they kill their own debt rating. So I'm not sure what you're saying is true. But I'm going to look into it. It's interesting, but I'm pretty sure it's not true. The good thing about this is, okay, there's a couple of good things. And no, there's really one good thing. The one good thing about this is, again, it reinforces people to kind of learn about wallets and self-custody their own crypto, right? I guess I don't know about the other good news, but I guess Gary hit Kraken first. I think it's obvious why, because Kraken is a smallish exchange, and I rarely talk to anyone that says they use Kraken. Really, I don't see anyone talk about Kraken. So he did this on purpose because he knew they couldn't fight it, right? And then now they have this settlement. They can send letters to everyone else and say, okay, you better comply, right? So this was tactical, strategic. There's a reason why they didn't go after Coinbase or Binance first, because both of those exchanges have a lot more lawyers and can fight it forever. Kraken could not. So, yeah, it's... Gary knows what he's doing. We need someone to fight him. We need Ripple to win, honestly. We really need Ripple to win. Because Congress or president is not going to come in and tell Gary no. We need to fight for ourselves. That's why I'm rooting for Ripple to win. I really am, because I don't know who else is going to fight them. Yeah, I really hope Coinbase fights it. I really do. is. Coinbase had a disastrous yesterday. They were down 14%. They're down another 3%. Ouch. But maybe a good buy. Oh, Tesla's finally cooling off. Tesla has been so hot recently. So tech is cooling off today. Can you look at AI play Airy NFT authentication crypto? Why do you need AI for authenticating NFTs? Yeah, I'm sorry. That project is just way too small. Yeah, if people want, if people want a good mobile wallet, okay, if you don't want to pay and you want a mobile wallet, just look at Trust Wallet. Trust Wallet is by far the industry leader when it comes to a mobile wallet. They support multiple chains, almost every single crypto. Not everything, but they support almost every big one out there. And they have their own dApp store. You can use it at a variety of DEXs. And they do offer native staking, not for everyone, but a few. And they have a built-in swap, but it's mostly for BNB stuff. But if you want a hardware wallet, then look into something like Ledger. Ledger is, I think, the best hardware wallet maker. There's others in this space, but they also offer native staking now. Like you can stake Cardano within a pool directly from Ledger. I just covered like Near protocol. They did something with them, so you could stake with Near. I'm sure you could stake with others. I think you could stake with Solana too with Ledger. So there's a lot of options out there. You don't have to stake only within an exchange. You could do so from your own wallet. Are we institutional investors or are we retail? Tyler, it depends on how rich you are. If you have $100 million in the bank and you're investing, through your LLC or your S corp or whatever, like tens of millions at a time, then maybe you're an institutional investor. But for everyone else, I would say retail investor. Another day in paradise, frustrating, but the goal doesn't change. Freedom. That's what it comes down to. Personal freedom. Property freedom. I mean, that's what Bitcoin and crypto represents, right? I mean, there's really nothing else that's global, that's not controlled by anyone, and presents the same kind of opportunities and upside that crypto does, if you think about it. I mean, besides crypto, what else is there? You could argue stocks or penny stocks, but they're limited to the country you live in, right? A lot of you guys are watching from overseas. You can't buy Microsoft or Apple or Tesla because you're overseas, unless they, maybe they have listings in other countries, but a lot of them don't, right? And it's the same thing. Like, in the U.S., you want to buy, like, I don't know, Samsung stock. You can't, right? But crypto, there's no borders. Anyone could buy Bitcoin. Anyone could buy Ethereum. Anyone could buy XRP or Cardano, right? And you could store it yourself. You could send it to anyone around the world, and no one could control that. I mean, that in itself is worth trillions. People just don't realize that, but that in itself is worth trillions. The fact that you can't have banks or governments say that, you know, you can't stake or you can't send, you can't receive. They can't stop it. That's the beauty, right? And there's nothing else like crypto. And it's going to be part of everyone's lives in the future. As Web3, whatever that may be, as we lead into Web3, 4, 5, 10, it's all going to be comprised of innovations that will spur from what we have now. Let's just put it that way. Coming from a person that owns 2 AC businesses. That's good to know. That's good to know. A couple of people are working at my house also believe in that. That's why they're in crypto. You know the funny thing on a side note, car people, like car industry people, like I was just at a Toyota event the other day, and I've been to several Toyota events and Honda events, and I'm talking to those guys that work with Honda and Toyota, and whenever we talk or have a dinner or something like that, I'm like, hey, are you guys into Bitcoin and crypto? And I want to talk to them about it, and all of them immediately say no, I don't know anything about it. They have no interest in hearing about it. I don't know why car industry people have no interest in crypto. I guess maybe they're just so into cars they could care less about investing. I don't know. I have been to a lot of events. Not one person I've talked to says they are in it. I don't know why. Maybe some of you guys are, and you could tell me, but there seems to be a disconnect with the car community. Anyways, all right, that's it for now. Bitcoin 21.9, maybe back up to 22 again. You know, today's summary is Gary is no good. He's not up to any good. He wants to control everything. He believes he's the savior of crypto, and he refuses to allow Bitcoin ETF to come out. And someone needs to stop him. Maybe we all need to get together and stop him. I'm hoping Coinbase offer some resistance to this non-staking business, and hopefully Ripple can also win, but we need to stand together. But in the meantime, make sure you stay safe, stay strong, look at a self-custody wallet if you want to continue staking, right? And I'll see you guys tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. No video tonight, but I got a lot of car videos for you guys on Drivers Only, so you could check that out. All right. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.